PantheonAI presents AI Giants Drive Markets, Nvidia's China Gamble and Inflation Warning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PAI Morning Briefing. It's August 14th, 2025, and we have a lot to unpack today to get you set for the markets. Let's start with a quick overview. The S&P 500 is hovering around 6458, just barely up. The Dow, however, is down about 0.25% at 44,780. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq is showing a bit of strength, up 0.17%, but the Russell 2000 is lagging, down over 0.5%.
So a really mixed picture to start the day, John. It seems like there's no single direction the market wants to go. It's a little bit of a tug of war.
Exactly. And that tug of war gets even more dramatic in the crypto space. Bitcoin is trading around 118,000, but it's down over 4%. Ethereum is also down almost 3%.
Wow, so those modest shifts in the stock market look tiny in comparison. It's that classic reminder of the high volatility, high risk world of digital assets. They're definitely making their own statement today.
They really are. But beyond these daily numbers, there's a much bigger story brewing. We've been hearing for months that the entire stock market is essentially being carried by just 4 major AI companies.
Oh, the AI four horsemen narrative. It's incredible when you think about it. 60% of the market's gains this year from just a handful of stocks. It really makes you wonder, is this a sustainable long-term shift, or are we just watching the final act of a very concentrated rally?
That is the multi-trillion-dollar question, and the tech drama doesn't end there. Let's pivot to Nvidia and its H20 chip.
Right. This story is so much more than just a new product launch. Nvidia is caught right in the middle of the U.S.-China trade tensions trying to sell this new chip in China. It's a perfect example of technology and global politics colliding.
It's as if that little chip has become a symbol for the challenges of globalization. Companies now have to navigate not just market demand, but international power plays.
It's a high-stakes chess match. And speaking of other players on that board, that brings us to Intel, doesn't it?
It does. The headline suggests Intel has a ticking clock, about 18 months to get its strategy right before rivals like Qualcomm and Arm can really pounce on any weakness.
And it's all happening so publicly. You have former political figures criticizing the CEO. It's like we're watching a boardroom strategy session play out on the news. The pressure on them must be immense.
No kidding. But while everyone is focused on tech, there's another economic signal flashing that we can't ignore. Wholesale prices.
Yes, the producer price index. That was a huge jump, the largest we've seen in 3 years, and it's being linked to tariff-induced inflation. This is that warning light that price increases might start moving through the supply chain and eventually hit all of us as consumers.
It's the canary in the coal mine. And what's fascinating is how the news cycle is hammering these stories. We noticed the headline about the 4 AI stocks carrying the market was repeated 3 separate times.
It's like the market has an exclusive VIP club, and the headlines are making sure everyone knows who's on the list. That repetition, whether it's about the AI stocks, Nvidia's chip drama, or Intel's ticking clock, really underscores the urgency and importance of these specific trends.
It certainly does. So let's break down what this means for a few key sectors. Tech, obviously, is front and center.
Absolutely. It's a thrilling but unpredictable space right now. You have this incredible innovation, but it's so tangled up with geopolitics and intense competition. One misstep by a company like Nvidia or Intel could have massive ripple effects.
And those ripples extend to other sectors. Take energy. While it's not in the headlines as much, rising wholesale prices mean higher costs for manufacturing and transport, which eventually puts pressure on energy prices.
It's all connected. And then you have the finance sector, which has to perform this delicate balancing act. Inflation can be good for their margins, but it can also lead to more defaults if consumers get squeezed. It's a real tightrope walk for them.
A tightrope walk on a global scale. These issues, the tech race for supremacy, the inflation fears, are reverberating in markets far beyond our borders.
It's true, honestly. Sometimes it feels like we're reading a script from a Hollywood thriller. Who needs a soap opera when you have the semiconductor industry battling it out?
You have a point. It keeps us on our toes. So let's shift to some insights. Given the heavy concentration in those few AI stocks, what's the big takeaway for investors?
Well, it's the classic, don't put all your eggs in one basket scenario. Even if they're golden eggs, a single crack can ruin the whole breakfast. Diversification and vigilance are more important than ever, because if one of those leaders stumbles, it could disproportionately affect the entire market.
And what about on the inflation front? Is this surge in wholesale prices just a blip?
I think it could be the tip of the iceberg. It's a strong hint that more significant price adjustments could be coming. This might be the time for investors to think seriously about hedging, maybe by looking into assets like real estate or commodities that tend to perform well in inflationary times.
So the big message today is that the market is polarized. On one hand, you have this tech-driven optimism, and on the other, these very real concerns about inflation and geopolitics.
Exactly. So we want to leave our listeners with a few questions to think about. First, with the spotlight so bright on tech, how prepared are you for a sudden regulatory shift that could change everything?
And have you considered how a global supply chain disruption might impact your portfolio? And maybe most importantly, if inflation accelerates, what's your game plan?
These are the big questions, and exploring them is what we do here at PantheonAI. We want to empower you, not overwhelm you. And remember, learning about this stuff shouldn't feel like a full-time job.
Well said. That's all the time we have for today's briefing. Thank you for tuning in.
Join us again tomorrow for more insights. Until then, stay curious, stay diversified, and keep questioning the trends. Have a great day. Pantheon AI, your information copilot.
Because learning shouldn't feel like a full-time job. Take care and see you next time.